When Marvel president Kevin Feige announced that Chadwick Boseman would play Black Panther during the Marvel Studios press junket held at the El Capitan Theater in Los Angeles in October 2014, industry insiders were ecstatic about the choice. At this point in Boseman's career, he was already considered a hot commodity, having just come off his performance as James Brown in the biographical picture Get On Up earlier that year, and his turn as Jackie Robinson in 42 the year prior. While Boseman's performances in those two films breathed new life into the Titans of Men, James Brown and Jackie Robinson, who placed their stamp firmly on the soils of American history, Boseman would not be considered a cultural icon until he donned the mask of the Black Panther, the first black superhero. If you watch this video and enjoy the content on my channel, please leave a like and subscribe for more similar content. 90% of the film's cast and crew were African American, with the two Tolkien white performers Martin Freeman and Andy Serkis, and the composer of the film, Ludwig Göransson, being the only three Caucasians involved with the film. Many saw this crew setup as the first signs of Hollywood acknowledging people who did not have white skin, and the beginning of the movement to diversify film, both in front of the screen and behind it. While most viewed the choice of a predominantly black cast and crew as a positive, some regarded the choice as more of a hindrance than a help. And that was none other than Anthony Mackie, Boseman's MCU contemporary. Hollywood journalism website The Wrap quoted Mackie, who stated the following during Variety's Actors on Actors with him and Daveed Diggs of Hamilton fame. Mackie noted, "It really bothered me that I've done 7 Marvel movies where every producer, every director, every stunt person, every costume designer, every PA, every single person has been white. But then, when you do Black Panther, you have a black director, producer, costume designer, and stunt choreographer. And I'm like, that's more racist than anything else. Because if you only can hire the black people for the black movie, are you saying they're not good enough when you have a mostly white cast?" The black director, producer, costume designer, and stunt choreographer Mackie refers to in his comments are Ryan Coogler, Nate Moore, Ruth E. Carter, and Aaron Toney, respectively. I wish to focus for a moment on producer Nate Moore, who at this point had produced both Captain America sequels, Captain America Winter Soldier and Captain America Civil War, 2 movies which Mackie plays a role and were released prior to Black Panther. While I believe that Mackie's comments were made in the spur of the moment during an interview where he did not have much time to think, I do not believe that Mackie is completely wrong in his assessment of the cast and crew setup for this film. Diversity in filmmaking does not begin with a culture of exclusion of a particular race. It is about allowing all, no matter the color of your skin, to have an opportunity to become involved in this thriving industry. The argument of what true diversity looks like is an ongoing one, and the answer to this challenging question may never be definitively answered, but to further the impact as to how this film influenced its progression in the industry, Black Panther made cinema history and managed to break multiple barriers, including an alt-right attack targeting the film many Hollywood insiders never believed would be broken. Black Panther is a film of firsts. As alluded to earlier, the character was the first black superhero printed in American comic books. This film is the first black-led film to join the $1 Billion Club making $1.344 billion at the box office. But above all else, this film made one thing abundantly clear to the Hollywood studio landscape, and that being stories about minority characters can be successful. Black Panther's unprecedented success paved the way for minority performers, specifically young black performers, to flourish, and Boseman's short yet illustrious career at this point soared while simultaneously elevating previously established black performers. Black Panther managed to keep its momentum as a highly regarded and influential film to most audiences when it got nominated in 7 categories at the 91st Academy Awards in 2019. Its nominations included Best Picture, Best Original Song, Best Sound Mixing, Best Sound Editing, Best Costume Design, Best Production Design, and Best Original Score. The latter 3 of which the film garnered wins for Ruth E. Carter, Hannah Beachler, and Ludwig Göransson, respectively. As a side note, there was and remains today a serious argument regarding Michael B. Jordan's performance as Njideka Eric Killmonger Stevens being snubbed from an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. The Son shall not bear the iniquity of the Father, neither shall the Father bear the iniquity of the Son. The righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 20, summarizes the film's plot and the force driving T'Challa and Killmonger forward. Both men believe that their fathers were good men. As a result, T'Chaka and N'Jobu attempt to keep their respective legacies alive by allowing their children to believe they are angels while simultaneously hiding demons under their beds. T'Challa and Njideka's conflict comes from the different environments in which they were born. T'Challa is taken into a house of royalty in the fictional city of Wakanda, and Killmonger is born into the impoverished streets of Oakland, California. As a result of their diametrically opposed upbringings, T'Challa and Killmonger each developed ideologies of the world that were not entirely their own and imposed by their fathers, T'Chaka and N'Jobu, respectively. Due to these paternally imposed ideologies, T'Challa and Killmonger are presented as 2 sides of the same coin. By the end of their conflict, they each manage to see the world from the other's perspective, to a certain degree. In both situations, T'Challa and Killmonger lose. Killmonger loses because of his belief that giving the black communities of the world weapons and other resources would allow them to liberate their people from the colonizers. In T'Challa's case, he loses because he was too gullible toward upholding Wakandan tradition and was hardly given a chance to think about how he desired to rule Wakanda for himself. This clash in ideologies led to a battle where the only acceptable result was one of them had to die at the hand of the other. In a near mirror image, T'Challa takes his cousin's life by stabbing him in the chest with a broken spearhead, almost identical to how T'Chaka took N'Jobu's life. The only difference in this scenario is that T'Challa is willing to listen to Killmonger and grants him one last request to see Wakanda in all her beauty before he allows himself to die by removing the spear from his chest. Just bury me in the ocean with my ancestors who jumped from the ships because they knew death was better than bondage. These are Killmonger's final words before he dies, believing that he were to accept help from T'Challa, he would be indebted to him and become nothing more than an enslaved person. The very feeling he had wished to liberate the wider Black community from. More connects us than separates us. But in times of crisis, the wise build bridges, while the foolish build barriers. We must learn to look out for each other, as if we were one single tribe. The final message this film attempts to send audiences has become very poignant, given the tragic crimes against not just Black Americans, but all Americans that have occurred over the past 5 years since the release of this film. No matter our color, creed, or sexual orientation, no one deserves subjugation. That is the moral behind T'Challa's speech at the end of the film, from which I pulled this quote. The moral evil that consumes this world may only be overcome if we work together without animosity. Thank you to those who have watched this video. While this cultural spotlight concludes our celebration of Black history, it does not mean the end of us seeking societal education and becoming better human beings, as T'Challa imparts to us so eloquently. If you enjoyed this video, please check out my cultural spotlight from last month on Eternals. Also, like, subscribe, and click the notification bell for more content. Until the next one, Wakanda forever.